As we were driving, I was talking and discussing, and we had so many dropped knowledge moments there. Not dropped as in fumbled and lost, but as in like they came out. They didn't spill out of the universal brain. And I was like, "Yo, dropping knowledge, bro." So at the end of a skit, or not even a skit, or just a speech, someone's gonna walk by and be like, "Hey, excuse me, I think you just dropped some knowledge," like and point at the ground or something. But anyway, what I was going to say, and I'm trying to think of it really well, but it's more or less, we could live off of chocolate ice cream and peanut butter sandwiches and candy. But we would have to believe that we're doing it, we're eating it because we enjoy it, not because someone said this is how you live, this is good for you, this is bad for you. You can have that, but it's not going to be good for you. That's going to kill you if you eat too much of it. And then you go, oh no, I like this, and but I want to do it. So now if I do it, I'm going to end up hurting myself. And you start doing that with everything at a young age, not just the bad foods, the things you're not supposed to say, the people you're not supposed to talk to, the kids you're not supposed to hang out with, the stuff you're not supposed to do. And the next thing you know, because someone told you it's going to be bad for you, and your mind thinks to yourself, but I like doing it, and then you do it anyway, and you think, but it's going to be bad for me. You don't even have to keep saying you think it's going to be bad for you. You already have that memory in your head. Your head took that because you believed it from someone who you trusted, and it's not their fault because they believed themselves too. Like, most people tell you something they believe. They don't think that they're wrong. Your parents aren't like, you're supposed to do this because it's good for you, because you heard it on TV. Eggs are bad for you. Next week, eggs are great. Next week, eggs give bad cholesterol. Next week, oh, actually, the cholesterol is killing the bad cholesterol. The next week, eggs will give you heart disease. You know what I mean? And that happens over and over and over. So whichever week you hear the news report and your kid says, I like eggs, and you go, oh, eggs are good for your heart. And if you keep up to date, you're going to keep telling or you're not going to go tell your kid, oh, there was a new update on the status of how eggs treat your heart. No, there isn't. Like, so many people have the wrong beliefs in everything because nothing is bad for you. Nothing is bad for you but your own brain and its capacity to keep things calm and rational. Instead, people just believe everything they hear. And then there's people like the whole younger generation is born more conscious, but because they're born more conscious, they have this feeling of wanting to do something big at a very young age, and when they're told they can't at a seemingly very young age, at a teen age, none of them want to do anything because everything that they want to do that makes sense is told to not be done. Because just listen to what you're told. Don't do what you want. Don't do anything that makes sense. Don't do that. Get the cool stuff. Be hip. Fit in, and either people are doing that or they just don't feel it like they have a place in the world because they don't want to have all the cool gadgets. So I think more of them want to be outside doing more fun things, but since no one does it, that's lost its fun. You can't even find people who get together and play outside anymore, and if you can, they're really young or really old people who watch football teams. And that we were saying that earlier too, about how if you hang out with people, usually it's because they do the same things you do or like the same things you like. And you can have a friend, like I did when I had friends when I was younger that watched football and played football. And when I stopped watching football, they stopped hanging out with me because we didn't have the same teams, we didn't have the same things to talk about. We didn't do anything like that anymore. It's just weird. So the only person you have is yourself. And I don't really have anything else to... but there was so much that I said that I wanted to drop more knowledge, but it comes out more or less when it's being real, not when it's being recorded. Although being recorded is me being real, but trying to repeat something I just said. Boy, even that's an interesting topic to say, because we all do that too. There was a whole bunch of stuff, but even how... Oh, the cup. Like, a cup isn't... The water, a cup isn't a big deal, right? But if you don't have a cup, the water would just pour out of the sink and you could hold your hand in a little circle formation and nothing would land in it because there's no cup. Like, the cup is the important part. Just like spirit was like, I need a container. Well, I'm going to use this pliable material that I have down here, combined together with a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm going to make this body. I'm inside the body, using the body as like a cup. I mean, just using an example or a synonym, because we're way more than a cup. And the one last thing I want to say is about the poo. This sounds really silly and really funny, but think of how this works. Why are there so many different animals, bugs, and insects and stuff like that? Picture a bird, just one bird, that pecks this seed, that seed, this seed, that seed, eats a piece of bread that's made up of a grain and pulverized seeds. which is also breath, with breadth, that whole word that gives things its depth, what it's full of. Like, bread isn't just a slice of something, it's got a whole bunch of stuff in it. We think, oh, it was a weed, powderized weed, whoopie-doo. But it's filled with something, multi-grains or no grains or shit, what your bread's made out of. But those bugs say you eat this seed, that seed, this seed, that seed, this seed, that seed, and then you poo with whatever else you have in your stomach. It goes onto the ground, which is the dark memory. It comes from the light shines through the sky, which is the light memory, I would say, the clear memory and the dark memory, and then the sun is the fuel, and we got the water that comes in there, and we know that water makes seeds grow. So if you take a thing like that and you mix it all together in a turd, which is basically a compound earth ball with some seeds in it, all kinds of different seeds, and you have something that would be leafy, you get something that's like a fluttery butterfly, something fluffy, something like that, something that's not as dense, something that's not as hard. And you have a seed that would have formed into a harder tree or something like that. It will turn into something that's more lengthy, twiggy, a walking stick, something with a shell, something that's like elongated in a like a stick form, even like an inchworm or whatever. That'll be softer without the outside shell. Like the softer as an inchworm, get a little bit harder, and you have spines and pokies like a caterpillar. Get a little bit harder, you have beetles and bugs. It's not that hard to see it. I see it, but I can't put it in the words because there's all these scientific explanations for it, and even the scientists don't know. It's the poop, dude. It's the poop. Anyway, the world is the shit. It's awesome. It's a shitty place, but the good kind of shit. So, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff there to say, but people will be like, listen to this dude rambling on like a goober, but the knowledge is in there, man. The knowledge, man. And it's one of those things we were saying earlier, like, you don't have to... It's like when you try to debate somebody, you can't be debated with, because when you come from a pure place, almost everything is right. What can you do about that? People don't like that. Oh well. Love them anyway. Yeah. Now it's time to do some more bread. Peace.